What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about the Modern Warfare 3 Vault Edition, some new pricing updates, and some additional teasers. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also as a huge reminder, we got plenty of brand new articles going up over on dkdynamite.com. Detonated is, of course, a brand new outlet I founded to expand on all the covers you're seeing here on the channel, just in the form of journalism. There's been quite a bit to cover the last couple of days in regards to Modern Warfare 3, MW2 Season 5, and I appreciate all of your guys' support over on the website, and of course, even on Detonated's Twitter. Now, a couple of hours ago, time recording this video, I did post a review of the new Ice Flow Elemental bundle that released inside of MW2 and talked about some other free cosmetics you can also earn in-game as of right now. There were a couple of MW2 updates that I just haven't had time to cover because of all the craziness surrounding MW3, but I covered all that in my video from a couple of hours ago. Now, yesterday, I posted a video talking about the Shadow Siege event for Modern Warfare 3 and some of the in-game early previews for the event itself, some brand new teasers, new intel, the lore. There's quite a bit that you can actually learn as of right now about what to expect in regards to next week's Shadow Siege event. There's even different objectives and rewards you can get by taking part. I'll have that video linked down below, but right as I posted that video, the unknown caller, aka Makarov, did go ahead and text all of our numbers if you guys opted into the viral marketing campaign, and he went ahead and revealed a new image of the underground secret bunker we're going to be going into during Shadow Siege. Now, apart from that image, which looks pretty damn cool and again builds upon what I was talking about in my previous video, there was a link that was sent with that message allowing you to add the Shadow Siege event to your phone's calendar, whether it's an iPhone, whether it's an Android. But something that people out there probably missed, and as we covered on Detonated, is that the link itself does say DMZ in the URL. Now, the event is being referred to as a 4-player Warzone experience, and sure, right, you spawn in with your loadout, that's a little bit different from how DMZ works, but if it's referred to as a DMZ event from this URL, it technically is our first ever 4-player DMZ experience, which, again, I talked about in my previous video quite a bit, but it's cool to point that out, since it's neither a Warzone or DMZ event, but if anything is closer to DMZ, since you're not really spawning in with 100 other people like you would in Battle Royale, you're spawning in with just your squad, and it's a very objective-oriented type of live event where you have a main objective that I'm assuming just unlocks the cutscene or the reveal trailer for MW3, and then there's other objectives in that playlist that allow you to earn other bonuses, such as a new base weapon, which has been rumored to be the M13C assault rifle. But the community also noticed that PlayStation Spain went ahead and re-uploaded the MW3 trailer, and towards the end of the trailer, it does say that you can play the MW3 beta 5 days before any other platform. Now, based on the dates that already leaked out for the MW3 beta, this does line up. We'll have an exclusive period for MW3 on PlayStation, then the following weekend, all other platforms will get access to the beta itself. Now, considering it is the last year of exclusivity for Sony, I would be curious, right? Unless they end up extending the contract, which is always possible regardless of Microsoft taking over, I'd be curious if they're going to do an exclusive game one like we saw in Modern Warfare 19 with Survival. We haven't gotten a mode like that ever since Cold War Onslaught, which is a good thing, but hey, Survival was very iconic in the original MW3 2011, so it almost wouldn't shock me if Sony wants to be like, alright, we have 1 year left, let's go all out and lock as much as we can behind exclusivity. That would be crazy, but I'm sure Sledgehammer wants to put out a banger, updated, revitalized version of Survival inside of the new MW3, so hopefully it's not exclusive to just one platform. Now, earlier this morning, an Australian listing for Modern Warfare 3 did claim that the game only costs around $54 in Australian currency, which is the equivalent of about $36 USD and upwards of about £26 for the UK. Now, I'm going to say right now, it's very, very likely this is placeholder information that just isn't up to date as of right now. I mean, as a reminder, if you looked at the Xbox placeholder listing for Modern Warfare 3, it only claimed that the game itself was available for Xbox Series X and S, not Xbox One. That has since been updated, since again, all platforms, both last gen and current gen, are getting MW3, but when it comes to the pricing, would not be shocked at all if this was just incorrect information. But we could play devil's advocate and say, you know what, let's put on our tinfoil hats for a second. Maybe there is an MW2 ownership discount where the game only costs $35 if you have MW2 already, but if you don't have MW2, then MW3 will cost $70. And don't forget, as we talked about in the carry forward feature the other day, the carry forward feature is interesting because even if you don't have Modern Warfare 2, you could still get access to all MW2 weapons in the new Call of Duty by doing a series of challenges to unlock maybe each individual class or each individual weapon. All the content is still going to be there regardless of your ownership, but I think in a perfect world that would make sense to have a discounted price for the new COD, but I just don't see that happening. Now, I think the game could only cost $35 if it's maybe a certain edition you're able to buy that excludes certain game modes. If for some reason on PC or even console they offer a campaign or multiplayer only edition, then I could see the price being that low, but that will likely be dropped during a special period later in the year year. I don't see that happening right away during launch, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's probably a placeholder, but again, if it's not, we'll be talking more about that in some future videos, because that would be crazy for the Call of Duty franchise to see a price difference that big, especially during launch window. But getting into the Vault Edition of Modern Warfare 3, I touched on this briefly in a previous video, but wanted to expand on it more in a separate one. So the COD merch shop did go ahead and confirm that a Vault Edition of MW3 is indeed going to happen. We have an official logo for the Vault Edition, which has been plastered on different pieces of merch, as you could see on the COD website. As far as pricing goes, the Vault Edition for Modern Warfare 2 cost upwards of $100 depending on your currency and regardless of your platform as well. But if the game, let's say, only costs 36 bucks, the Vault would maybe be upwards of 60 bucks. But again, I highly doubt there is any price difference with MW3 in comparison to Modern Warfare 2. So the Vault Edition is likely going to be the same price as we saw with last year's Call of Duty. Now, additional and quite frankly, some random bonuses did get added to the Vault Edition of Modern Warfare 2 late last summer. Not only did you get access to the cross-gen download and early access to the beta as well as campaign, you also got the Red Team 141 Operator Pack, the FJX Cinder Weapon Vault, the Season 1 Battle Pass, and around 50 tier skips. But by pre-ordering the Vault Edition digitally, you were able to get your hands on 3 free bundles, which included Khaled Al-Assad, which is odd considering we haven't seen a new version of his character in the Modern Warfare reboot quite yet. You got the Final Judgment Pack that you can use in Vanguard and Warzone. You were also able to use Khaled in Vanguard and Warzone. But then there was the Ghost Legacy Pack featuring 12 skins for Ghost and 10 blueprints, all of which were available to use in Modern Warfare 19 and Warzone 1. So the Vault Edition was pretty stacked for the price that you had to pay for it. That's fair enough, but I do believe we might have already seen our first look at the Red Team 141 pack equivalent inside of the MW3 Vault Edition. So as I covered in a previous video and over on Detonated's Twitter, apparently according to people out there that play on Xbox, you're able to see this image on some MW3 promo material, which showcased our first actual look at some operator skins in MW3. This included skins for Price, Ghost, Makarov himself. We actually haven't seen his character model in game yet, only a live cinematic preview of his character because of the actor, and then a mysteriously masked character standing next to Makarov, likely on his side. So that could be the bonus pack that releases with a Vault Edition pre-order. It's also possible that Makarov individually will be available as a standalone operator bundle that you can get regardless of the edition that you pre-order, but maybe just any digital edition. I mean, I'm thinking more along the lines of the Woods operator offering when you pre-ordered Cold War, you got his operator in Modern Warfare 19, or when you pre-ordered Vanguard, you got Kingsley in Cold War. Could be a case like that with Makarov, or there could be multiple versions of his character that get added in straight away. One version just for pre-ordering, and then one version a part of this Red Team 141 type of pack as a part of the upcoming Vault Edition. But then we have the Weapon Vault. So with this edition being called the Vault Edition, that means another Weapon Vault is on the way for MW3. We only ever gotten one other Vault weapon, and that was in MW2 last summer. Now, the Vault weapon was usable during the beta, and in my opinion, that's where it holds the most value. Being able to use a decked out and maxed out weapon right out the gate. You can argue it's pay to win, but everybody can get their hands on it by just pre-ordering the Vault Edition. So when you get your hands on that weapon, it is an interchangeable type of weapon where if you mix and match all the attachments on the weapon itself, you never lose the look of the blueprint, which is feedback that both Sledgehammer and Treyarch got for Mastercrafts in the past. They'll likely apply something like that to future Mastercrafts to come out, because if you guys remember, in Vanguard, there was a Mastercraft that released in which you're able to mix and match the attachments without ever losing the look of the weapon. So they've already played around with the idea of that kind of enhanced Mastercraft experience, and Vault Editions were kind of the icing on top. However, it looks like they just figured out how to do post-launch versions of Weapon Vaults, and they're a little bit different. So with the Weapon Vault that we got in Modern Warfare 2, you were able to have the same look on, I think it was the FSS Hurricane, the M4, even the TAC. But when it comes to how long those take to make, it's likely months of work to go into the development of bundles like that. So what they did recently in Season 5 of MW2 is they introduced us to universal wraps, the ability to mix and match attachments on a new blueprint without ever losing the look of that blueprint, but it only applies for that specific weapon, not other weapons in that same weapon receiver or that same weapon tree like we saw with the FJX Cinder Weapon Vault. So I'm curious to see how the new Weapon Vault they do in MW3 either follow suit with the one we got in Modern Warfare 2, the FJX Cinder, or it'll be something along the lines of what we got recently with the Universal Wraps and the FR Aventure. I'm curious how they end up changing up the Weapon Vault system this time around, and if whether or not they'll also keep adopting Universal Wraps in every future season and release bundles like that more often than what we got in MW2. But with that, the Vault Edition for Modern Warfare 3 will give you early access to the open beta, campaign early access, and of course the Season 1 Battle Pass, as well as 50 tier skips. Season 1 is currently scheduled for December 5th, 2023. I'll put the other key dates on screen so you guys can see as of right now the dates we know so far about the upcoming beta and the campaign early access period. Now, as you saw in the thumbnail, I would not be surprised if, to entice more players to buy the Vault Edition of Modern Warfare 3, they also end up releasing some other bundles for free as a part of the Vault Edition, whether that means bundles that have come out previously, whether it's Izanami, whether it's another Tracer pack, or bundles that have yet to come out, which were scheduled for Season 5 Reloaded or Season 6, and end up bundling that with the Vault Edition, on top of giving players the ability to also buy those bundles separately. They did that with, again, Modern Warfare 19 and Vanguard technically, where you can get the Ghost Legacy pack by getting Vault Edition, which featured skins that you were able to already buy in Modern Warfare 19, or the Khaled al-Assad pack, which you were also able to get separately, along with Final Judgment if you guys played Vanguard exclusively and didn't buy the MW2 Vault Edition. Now, tonight's video is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan. If you're injured and don't know where to start, you can submit a claim in 8 clicks or less without ever having to leave the couch. Submitting a claim for an injury doesn't have to be a stuffy process. With Morgan & Morgan, there's no need for you to visit law offices and sit through timely consultations. You can submit a claim and have a lawyer review your case with only 8 clicks from your mobile app. Now, Morgan & Morgan is a 21st century law firm which has modernized the injury law process, making it so easy to submit your claim. You can submit your case details, sign contracts, upload documents, and medical records all from your cell phone. You can even text your attorney and legal team throughout the duration of your case. Submitting an injury claim after a car accident is a no-brainer. You have nothing to lose, and a firm like Morgan & Morgan can quickly determine if you even have a case. Don't overthink it though. Take action to protect your rights, and Morgan & Morgan will fight to get the compensation that you deserve. But with that being said, check out Morgan & Morgan with the special link down below in this video's description or the pinned comment, and thank you to Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring tonight's video. But I also want to clarify physical editions of Modern Warfare 3, because as of right now, what we know so far is that physical editions are constantly changing. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten a collector's physical edition since Modern Warfare 19. Cold War should have got one, but because of COVID, I understand that there were probably some time constraints, limitations, and other issues preventing them from doing that. It's unclear if they're going to bring physical collector's editions back ever again for COD, but as of right now, and based on what we saw from MW2, physical editions have been changed a little bit. So what you're able to do is buy a physical copy of a standard cross-gen edition, not the Vault edition. Apparently, I've heard that in some retailers, you're able to put down $0 right now for a standard pre-order of MW3 on any platform of your choice, but I don't believe there will be a physical version of the Vault edition at all this time around, as there wasn't for MW2. But the physical standard cross-gen version of Modern Warfare 2 included the following. So if you bought a single disc for MW2 on Xbox, it would come with a version that works for Xbox One, Series S, and X. If you bought a single disc for PS4, it was just for that platform, and if you bought a single disc for PS5, it was also just for that platform. There might have been additional offerings where if you bought a PS4 version of MW2 physically, you were able to get a free cross-gen upgrade for PS5. I believe that might have been an offering at select retailers, but as of now, that's what we know. That is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on everything we know so far about the Modern Warfare 3 Vault Edition? How are you feeling about the potential pricing updates, which are probably just placeholders, and everything else we discussed? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.